Hey, what's up everybody? This is Meath24, and today I'm going to be taking a look at a classic favorite anime of mine, Outlaw Star. This is one of the first anime series that I ever watched on Toonami, along with Ronin Warriors, 8th MS Team, G Gundam, all those original anime that came with the first Toonami block. And this is a series that I watched before Cowboy Bebop. I know there's a lot of similarities between the two, and a lot of people tend to like one versus the other based on which one they watch first. I love Bebop a lot too. I didn't watch that until about a year and a half ago improper. Like, I'd seen episodes here and there, but never the whole thing in the right order. Outlaw Star, however, I watched a long time before that. Stuck with it the whole way through, and I just loved it. It's very much a sort of loose retelling of the story of Treasure Island, and in this you have Gene Starwind, who's the main character, his buddy Jim Hawking. Eventually they team up with Aisha Clan of the Kataro Empire, Twilight Suzuka, and then they have a sort of a co-pilot for their ship named Malfina, and she has some very unique abilities as this human who can interact with the Grappler ship. And then also the Grappler ship itself has an onboard computer named Gilliam, so he's sort of a character as well. Now, there's a lot of people they run into over the course of the series, like Hot Ice Hilda, the McDougal brothers, characters that keep showing up from time to time, and it's nice that they have this sort of recurring trend going on with these characters, because it gives you a lot more incentive to keep sticking around to see, when are they going to run into them next, or what role do they play in the larger story in the search for the Galactic Leyline. So that's what the series is mostly about, is their search for the Galactic Leyline and all these characters they run into along the way. There's some getting sidetracked and, having an episode focus on one planet or one space station or one set of characters for that whole 25-30 minutes. But ultimately, the search is for the Galactic Leyline. And it's just a really cool sci-fi space opera sort of take on things here, because you have these ships that, like I said, are grappler ships, where they have arms, and you can attach different weapons to them and utilize them in different ways. And it's a really interesting idea to have these like very fast, very adaptable spaceships that have arms. It's just a very strange idea, but I really like it. The series is pretty average length. I believe it is 24 or 25 episodes? 26 episodes, rather. Around the same length as your typical anime. Most OVAs are like 12, 13 episodes at the longest. Most series are about 26, unless they're Gundam, where they're longer, like 50 or whatever. This is the Anime Legends collection from Bandai. I believe it's out of print now because Bandai's been in limbo for a while. I got this like right before they went into that weird phase there of not knowing what stuff, or who is going to be able to distribute what, and before they start selling off their assets and shopping them around and stuff. This does come with 6 DVDs, and they released it originally, I think, as 3 volumes of 2 discs apiece, or something to that end. So you could get those separate, but this is, I think, the easier one to find, well, up until, Bandai kind of went in flux. For those of you who are wondering if you'll be able to pick up Outlaw Star in the future, Funimation has announced that they've picked up both this and Bebop and a bunch of other series, so starting, I think, winter or spring of next year, you'll be able to pick this up from them in a new print. I doubt they'll do any changes to the dub or the presentation or anything, because it'd be, 1, too costly for them, and 2, a lot of people are big fans of this dub. So I imagine they'll just keep everything the same and re-release it in a new box. Maybe some different DVD art, but beyond that, I imagine it'll pretty much all be the same. So you do get some special features with this, nothing real fancy, but you have your Japanese-English audio, interactive menus, if that tells you anything about how old the original DVDs of this were. You have an image gallery, the textless opening, you have the textless ending, some Bandai previews. They did that with like Outlaw Star, sorry, this is Outlaw Star. They did that with Endless Waltz and Char's Counterattack as well. So there's like a bunch of previews for stuff that Bandai has licensed stateside. And then also the Japanese DVD cover gallery, so you can check out the Japanese art. So there's just a little synopsis on the series there, and then if we open it up, you can see the artwork for the discs. Discs 1 and 2 are the same art. Discs 3 and 4 are the same art. and discs 5 and 6 are the same art. And like I said, I think that's because those originally were released as 2 DVD sets at 3 sets apiece there. The front of the box art, admittedly, is not fancy at all. It's just, I think it does what it's supposed to well. It's kind of like the Cowboy Bebop art. It's very minimal, but I think it works. And then along the spine there, you have the same sort of thing, the complete collection thing. I love this series. This is one of my all-time favorite anime. It's one of those anime that really helped me define what the difference was between US animation and Japanese animation, because at the time I didn't really know the difference. This is also one of the first anime that I watched that was sort of like dark and gritty. It's still kind of cartoonish and adventurous and sort of outlandish when you compare it to something like Evangelion or Serial Experiments Lain or one of those other ones I really love. But this is one of the first series that I thought was like really gritty and dared to go into some different territory than what I was used to in terms of animation. So I really appreciate it for that. Gene is one of my favorite like lead characters of all time. He's got this really cool balance of just being, kind of an awesome, rough and tough guy with being sort of a goofball. And it's a really hard balance to pin down sometimes, but I think they do it really well in this series. The rest of the characters complement each other great. The environment design is fantastic. The animation quality on a whole is great. And just the action and the suspense and the drama and stuff that unfolds is just a lot of fun. It has its comedic moments. It has its sort of dark and gritty moments, like I mentioned. It's just a lot of fun to watch. And like I said, it's similar in design to Bebop, but their execution is vastly different. Whereas Bebop is more of a noir sort of, I don't know, not detective delivery, but sort of like a gangster shoot 'em up sort of a thing. It's not exactly the best description for Bebop, but whereas that's more about the bounty hunter aspect and the like taking down small criminals here and there or bigger criminals, this is more about the adventure and the exploration and finding out what's out there in space as well as what's inside these characters and what makes them tick. So I highly recommend this series. It's a lot of fun. The dub is surprisingly good considering how old this anime is. And yeah, it's a great series. So like I said, if you can't find this version in stores or online anymore because it's really expensive, do know that there will be a re-release coming out probably early 2014, around the same time as the new Bebop release and a few other series that Funimation has picked up from Bandai. So that's pretty much it for this review, and with that, I will see you guys next time.